هل جزاء الإحسان إلا الإحسان.
This is the 60th verse of 55th Surah, Surah Ar-Rahman. And in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing a principle for all of us. And this principle also brings a lot of hope for each and every one of us. And the principle is that the jaza, the reward, the outcome for doing good, for doing an amal of ihsan, is nothing but ihsan. That is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would reciprocate our good deeds, our efforts, and in return give us something very good, something excellent. And the word used here is ihsan. Ihsan specifically is translated as beautification, or to do something beautiful, or strive for perfection or excellence. It's a more holistic word than just using a word amal sahle, which is to do good deed. Ihsan is actually associated to intention, so it is a word which includes your intentions also. That is, if you have good, beautiful, excellent intentions, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is considering those intentions as well, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us for those intentions as well. And in a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is specifically mentioned that if a person who performs a good deed so that he has only intended to perform a good deed, कि अभी उसने नियत ही की है, तो Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him in his book, he will write one virtue. And if this person intends to do a good deed and actually follows upon it and actually performs that good deed, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will write up to 70 or more times virtues in his book of record. However, if this person, let's say, has a bad intention and then he stops himself, that is, he does not follow up and stops himself from doing that bad act, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still give him one good deed. And then if he has a bad intention and he actually unfortunately follows up on that bad intention and performs that bad deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him with one evil deed in his book. So here the word ihsan is a holistic word which is also about intentions. And to understand what is meant by ihsan and what are the things of ihsan in our religion, generally we have to understand that a religion is designed in a way where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to continuously improve. This is the model for us, to be better and better and better, and that is what the word ihsan reflects. That is a strive for perfection. But generally, if let's say you talk about ibadah, then ihsan would mean to, if you're not praying, then pray. If you're praying, then pray 5 times a day. If you're praying 5 times a day, then pray with jamaat. If you're able to pray with jamaat, then pray with much more khushu and khuzu, so on and so forth. So you continuously improve yourself, or let's say you go for hajj or you pay zakat. This is ihsan in terms of ibadat. Or ihsan could be simply understood as trying to seek forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or in terms of muamalat, be a person of etiquettes and manners, and give respect to others, be nice to someone, be compassionate to someone, uphold your kinship, look after your family, look after your friends and cousins, and see if you can help them whenever they require your help. Ihsan could simply refer to zikr, remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or to attain shukr and sabr in your life. And in another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, we also understand that once you have an intention to do something good, you should follow up on it, you should not delay it. And so here ihsan could also be to avoid procrastination, that is, follow up on whatever good intention that you have. And now one could ask that what is meant by jaza, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that Allah will give us a beautiful jaza. So what exactly is the meaning of that jaza? So the first and foremost meaning of that jaza is obviously Jannat, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, which in itself is a manifestation of Allah's the beauty and perfection and excellence created by Allah. It's one of the manifestation of that is Jannah for all of us. But then from another verse of the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Man amila salihan min zakarin aw unsa, that from amongst the male and the female, whoever perform good deeds, amal salih, वहुवा मोमिनन फलानुहयियन्नहु हयात तय्यबा, और वो मोमिन हो तो हम उनको अता करेंगे हयात तय्यबा, that we also grant them beautiful life. So here ihsan could also mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant them a beautiful life in this world as well, not just the next world. وَلَا نَجْزِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْرَهُمْ بِأَحْسَنِ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ, and then this is the jaza for their amal that they performed. So ihsan and the jaza of ihsan could be sukoon in this world, could be the Jannah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, and most importantly the raza and the acceptance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being accepted on the day of judgment. That could also be referred to as the jaza of ihsan. Now pertaining to the hope part of this verse is as follows, that once we read this verse, this often happens in every Muslim's life, that when you perform something and you're unable to get immediate results, so you lose hope and you start thinking, okay, I'm praying but my du'as are not being heard, why should I spend my money, how about I don't pay my zakat, or somehow I reduce the amount of zakat that I'm actually paying, or why should I be helping others, whereas I can use my time and money on my own self and think about my own self. Sometimes you start feeling, when things start getting rough, you get these feelings that maybe XYZ is much better off than me, because he does not have to follow a code of conduct and I'm following a code of conduct. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is actually saying that no, don't worry, your whatever life of ihsan that you're trying to strive for, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you ending of ihsan. So you should be hopeful about all the amal that you're performing, and this is the hope that this particular surah or verse brings us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give istiqamah to all of the people who are listening to me, and especially me, myself, to do amal of ihsan. Jazakallah khair.